The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived, I'll call to order this regular meeting of Keene City Council. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene YouTube channel and Spectrum Channel 1302. The video is also streamed on the city's website and is posted to the website by the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. If you'd like to receive a City Council packet to reference while viewing future broadcasts, please contact the City Clerk's office during business hours, or go to the city's website and subscribe to the city's meetings email list. The agenda is also accessible from any mobile device. I'd ask that the clerk please call the roll.
Brian J. Lake.
Here.
Michael J. Remy.
Here.
Michael Giacomo.
Here.
Randy L. Filio.
Here.
Robert C. Williams.
Here.
Philip M. Jones.
Here.
Andrew M. Madison. Chris E. Roberts.
Here.
Raleigh C. Omerod.
Here.
Bettina A. Chadbourne. Catherine I. Workman.
Here.
Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Here.
Kate M. Bosley.
Here.
Thomas F. Powers.
Here.
Thank you. Councilor Roberts, would you please lead us in the pledge? All right, so we had an issue with our minutes of our previous meeting, as I understand it. There was a clerical error that's been identified, and so I'm going to call those minutes up for reconsideration. And I'm going to look to Councilor Powers to amend those minutes appropriately.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move to adopt the August 17th minutes as corrected. The original minutes inadvertently excluded the motion to go into non-public session.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Powers, seconded by Councilor Bosley. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous, which brings us to our last set of minutes, which would be the September 7th, 2023 meeting minutes, and I'd look to Councilor Powers again, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to adopt the September 7th minutes.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Powers, seconded by Councilor Bosley. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. So a couple of announcements tonight. The grand opening of the Patricia T. Russell Park is tomorrow with a ribbon cutting ceremony at 11 a.m. I know her family is coming in and excited about that, and so are several members of the community. I hope you all can join us. That same evening, there will be a community night, which will go from 4:30 to 6 p.m., and that's a good time right after work to go over and see people enjoying this great new amenity for us all. There are going to be food, games, and music over there. The annual fire prevention parade will be on Sunday, October 8th. The parade will start at 1 p.m. The reviewing stand will be on Main Street at the intersection with Railroad Street, and the parade will end at the Keens Central Fire Station. The inspection dinner will be held Thursday, October 12th at 6 p.m. on the apparatus floor at Keene Central Fire Station. The FOP meeting for that evening will be canceled so that the council and staff can attend that dinner. The second council workshop that was scheduled for October 16th will be canceled because I think we got some good work done at the last workshop and we don't need another one. In the month of October, I'm going to switch the meetings for the municipal services, facilities, and infrastructure, and planning licenses and development meetings. So MSFI will be on October 11th, and PLD will be on October 25th. Finally, I'm moving the Wednesday, November 22nd MSFI meeting to Tuesday, November 21st to accommodate Thanksgiving. And there are two issues that will require the MSFI meeting to meet that week. And then I understand Councilor Jones has an announcement for us.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm doing this from memory. I have it on my phone and didn't bring my phone today. But just so you know, the Governor's Council on Long-Term Intermodal Transportation on their 10-year plan is coming for a public workshop in Keene, and I believe it's on September 25th at the Rec Center at 6 o'clock. And it's a great place to give input. We've done this before, especially with our rail trails and stuff like that. It's a great place for them to gather information, and I just wanted everyone to know about it.
Excellent, thank you. And that brings us to confirmations. Number 1.
This evening, we will be confirming the mayor's nomination to several slots on the Library Board of Trustees. The first would be Ease Gakunde, with a term to expire June 30, 2024, and Ritu Budakote, term to expire June 30, 2024. Just a reminder, those are shortened terms, just to sort of balance out the term expirations over the years. And then, as new members, Dr. Donald Caruso, June 30, 2026, and a Catherine Bayer, June 30, 2026.
I'm looking at Counselor Powers for motion. Counselor Bosley for a second, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to confirm the nominations as presented.
Second.
We have a motion from Counselor Powers, seconded by Counselor Bosley. Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
And Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Giacomo?
Yes.
And Counselor Filio?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
And Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
And Counselor Omerod?
Yes.
Counselor Chadbourne?
Yes.
And Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
And those nominations are confirmed. Number 2.
The mayor is nominating Lisa Maxfield. She has been an alternate member to the Energy and Climate Committee. They are moving her up to a regular membership slot, and that would be a term to expire December 31, 2024. That's an unexpired term. And then a Michael Winograde, he is joining the Energy and Climate as an alternate with a term to expire December 31, 2026.
And those will be tabled to our next regular meeting. And we have 4 communications that we'll take together.
The first is from American House. These all deal with safety concerns on the east side of Keene. We also had a communication from Vicki Morton, again, east side of Keene, and in hers, the need for increased public police presence. From Robert Ham, same concern, and again, the need for increased police presence, and a concern for safety on the east side of Keene. Lastly, from Council Filio, talking about homelessness in Keene.
All right, and those are all going to be referred to the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee meeting, which will meet on Wednesday, October 11th. And committee reports, number 1.
We have an informational report from the Planning, Licenses, and Development Committee. It is relative to the placement of a cell tower in a residential neighborhood, raising issues of nuisance and safety hazard concerns.
And we'll accept this as informational. I understand Counselor Jones wants to speak to this.
Yes.
Just make sure you get your mic.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I just want to add, yes, we're accepting this as informational, but Mr. Espius did bring up some information about the definition of nuisance and safety programs, and we as a committee said that when we do the review of the ordinance, we would take all of that into consideration.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted that in the background notes.
Yes, Counselor Filio?
And to add to what Councilor Jones says, I know we've been going over this issue for a while, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the back and forth, and, you know, depending on what technology you believe and what you don't. This is obviously being accepted as informational, which means it can be brought up again during the calendar year. I would urge, you know, all councilors to read both sides of the information on 5G. You know, if it's harmless and we move forward, great, but if it wasn't, you know, whoops. So I'd rather be, I don't want to be on the whoop side. So let's make sure we're doing this correctly and not let this issue just slide away and pay more attention to it. And I was reading a couple of European studies today that disagree with some of the information that we've passed forward. So I just want to hope that we all stay current on this information.
Okay, let's save the debate for another time. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is just a clarification to Councilor Filio that this had nothing to do with the harmful or claimed harmful anything. This has to do with the physical hazards of the pole location. This is about a traffic hazard, and it's about the potential electrical hazard of electrocution through the pole. This had nothing to do with the rest of the discussion that's happened on this particular topic.
All right, thank you. Number 2.
Planning Licenses and Development Committee report relative to a request to renew an existing lease with Monadnock Tea Hanger Corporation. On a vote of 4-0, the Planning Licenses and Development Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to negotiate these leases and bring them back when ready to execute.
Counselor Bosley for a motion, Counselor Giacomo for a second, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second?
We have a motion from Counselor Bosley, seconded by Counselor Giacomo. Counselor Bosley.
So this was the Monadnock Tea Hanger Corporation coming before us to discuss a lease that they've held since 1988. And in their original lease, it was a 20-year term with the potential for a 20-year extension. They're coming up on 5 years remaining of that second 20-year extension. And what they're looking for is a little bit of negotiation with the city to get some assurance so that they can continue further investing in their hangar. Without that assurance, the individual owners have some concern about whether they should continue to upgrade and modernize and maintain the equipment that's there. So this was a pretty easy one for us. The city manager has expressed that they were very good tenants, and she's had a great relationship with them, and she wanted to work with them on this issue, and we think that's the correct thing to do.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That's unanimous. Brings us to number 3.
Planning Licenses and Development Committee report relative to a request to place a sandwich board on a city sidewalk. On a vote of 4-0, the Planning Licenses and Development Committee recommends the current license issued to Ryan Grandmont for use of the vendor cutout adjacent to Railroad Square be amended to allow placement of a sandwich board sign on city property, which may be erected prior to the start of sales each day, subject to review and approval by city staff with respect to the specific location. The sign must be removed immediately after sales have concluded.
Counselor Bosley for a motion, please. Counselor Giacomo for a second.
Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second?
We have a motion by Counselor Bosley, seconded by Counselor Giacomo. Counselor Bosley.
So again, this is another simple request to help a downtown vendor with his business. The location of his equipment had to be moved because of the size of the vending station that he had originally licensed was a little bit larger than what we had expected to have there. And there are some restrictions on Railroad Square about sales, so he was relocated to a vendor parking space adjacent to Railroad Square. That reduced his business there, and the council, or the committee, felt that we would like to see him be able to have some direction from the public about where his new location is, and hopefully help him through the rest of this selling season.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. Number 4.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to a 2024 Law Enforcement Substance Abuse Reduction Initiative grant. On a vote of 3-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the manager be authorized to do all things necessary to accept and expend the New Hampshire Department of Safety 2024 Law Enforcement Substance Abuse Reduction Initiative grant in the amount of $21,989.
That was an FOP, so I'm looking at Counselor Powers. All right, Counselor Powers for a motion, Counselor Remy for a second, please.
You got the same minutes, or you got the same notes I got. I just scratched his name out. Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second. We have a motion from Counselor Powers, seconded by Counselor Remy. Counselor Powers.
The three Omegos of FOP worked very diligently the other night. We had a visit from Captain Steve Tenney at the Police Department. He brought forward the information for this grant that comes through the Department of Safety, almost on an annual basis, $21,989, and the sole purpose is substance abuse reduction. So they'll use the funds for investigations and programs to try to reduce and stem the tide of drugs in the area. Recommend that the council approve this grant acceptance. Thank you.
Any discussion? Yes, Counselor Williams.
Hi, I'm going to vote against this just as I have the past couple of years. no offense to the police department, I do appreciate that they're bringing in grants, but, I just want to make a statement that, this is money for the drug war, and the drug war really isn't working. There's other ways to approach this problem, medicalization, harm reduction, and so my vote is just to say we need to pay more attention to that.
Further discussion, Counselor Giacomo.
Thank you, Your Honor. I also appreciate that we're bringing in money. Guess a question, I don't know if the police chief is here, but if we have any kind of specific programs or what is this money specifically being used for other than generally substance abuse reduction? In light of all the East Keene complaints that we just had coming across to the MSFI this next meeting, I'm curious how this money is going to be expended actually, like more specifically. I know it's not usually something that we ask of you guys, but
City
if you would.
Manager?
Yeah, this money will cover overtime costs in the police department related to drug investigations and activities of that nature.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Number 5.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to a professional services contract for fleet facility assessment. On a vote of 3-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the manager be authorized to do all things necessary to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement with RTA Fleet Consulting Group for technical services for fleet facility assessment for an amount not to exceed $49,300.
Counsel Powers for motion, Counsel Remy for a second, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second. We have a motion by Counsel Powers, seconded by Counsel Remy. Counsel Powers.
Assistant Public Works Director Duncan Watson came in and explained that this particular project that's in the CIP is an analysis of the facility down there at Public Works. Coming up on about 20 years old. It was built by another firm for a different purpose, and when we bought that property and rehabbed it, it became the fleet facility for a fleet larger than what was ever used for in the past, and a different type of use. And it's really, in my opinion, was too small when we started. So this is appropriate at this point in time. We're looking at it, and we've got a consulting firm that deals in fleets, so that's going to be very helpful, the kind of things that they bring forward to us for current fleets and future fleets, and that's one of the considerations. They will look at, what electric vehicles can do and what we would be able to do in that facility, which is at this point very little. So it's very, very important that it's done at this point in time. $49,300 well spent on this investment. We ask that the city council approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? That is unanimous. City Manager.
Thank you. Just a few updates for you this evening. This past Monday evening, the council goal workshop proved to be very successful. As you heard the mayor say, we canceled out the second one. We are in the process of gathering all the notes from the discussion at the 3 tables. We will make the amendments to the goal language as discussed in the recap at the end of the night. And I hope to have this document ready for adoption at your next council meeting, so you should see it on your agenda. One request that came out of the discussion was related to COVID. Councilors were interested in knowing what changes that we made during COVID are still in place. And so I'm collecting that information and will share that with all of you once I have it. I have a meeting tomorrow with the county to talk about the ambulance. So I just want to talk real quick, and I know I've talked to you before about the things that I'm looking for at this meeting. There are several questions we'd like to have answered. We are interested in understanding the county-wide estimated number of calls and percentage of paramedic calls based on historical data. So we would like to get a sense from the county what they anticipate the overall demand for the ambulance will be. We also would like to discuss an inventory of service providers throughout the county, including the hospital, to determine where the gaps of service exist. And then we are interested in the status of county contracts. So who are they contracted with currently? We're interested in their capacity. How many more towns can they contract with? What is the maximum number of calls or towns the county can support? We are interested in their staffing model and how that's being used to support their contracts now and in the future. And their funding model, how are they pricing contracts and how will that change in the future? Also, they have a relationship with Great Brook Ambulance Service, and so we are interested in understanding more about that. What exactly is their role, and what is the capacity of Great Brook? And how can the county assist Keene Fire Department? As you know, we currently have a 90-day arrangement with Rescue Inc. So they also asked us some information, and we provided all of that information to them, some data in advance of the meeting. So they have all of the transports and calls that we have gone on, so by community, and they also have our revenues. And not only what we charged for an ambulance calls in that community, but what we actually were allowed to collect based on insurance, and then what we actually collected. And so we provided that information to them last week. And then I also wanted to just talk a little bit about Flash Vote. We talked a little bit about this at the council goals workshop.